What's going on, everybody? It is Stephen Simmons again with an interview with our elders. Today, we have the honorable, the wonderful, the magnificent Ricardo Adams, the man out here with the plan. How are you doing today, sir?
Good morning. I'm still trying to figure my way around out here. Every month it seems like there's new territory. This fight for social justice that I've been involved with, man, it's been a lifelong battle. Um, and there's no simple route to go to battle in. I mean, we have to continuously change directions. Um, Status quo is continuously throwing something new at you. You're never just in the ring one-on-one. It's always you're in there fighting multiple fights. And that's what I find myself just in every aspect of my life. Like I'm trying to let my kids step up. And there's a lot of concern there for me because nobody's playing by the rules. They're hurting people out here. They're hurting people when you resist, like my kids are doing. They've gotten hurt over the summer. I've gotten hurt. It's a lot of people who resisted. The RPD has not been playing. They have not been playing no games with us, man. And it's a little scary for me to try to step back. And the reason I need to step back is for health reasons.
Yeah.
I've unless somebody knows a way I can go on the Amazon and find a new body. I just got too many things going on with my body. It's been failing me. I've had to get my knee replaced, prostate taken out. It's been, my heart has an irregular heartbeat. That's just to name a few of the issues I have. I have quite a few issues. High blood pressure. So it's time for me to step back and try to take it easy and live. But I don't know. I still have to be a support to my kids out here and my whole family. My whole family is involved in the social justice aspect of my life. I'm on the school board now, and that is, to be honest, I so regret being on there. It is really so time consuming with few results to my liking. I advocated on trying to get what they call looping. That's what when I ran on hoping to get looping so that a teacher would follow a student from one grade to the next grade. So there would be a relationship, familiarity, and it would be a better learning atmosphere. I've not had a chance to do any advocating. I've been on the board a year now, and I've had no chance at all to advocate for any of that. It's been between COVID and a lot of other it ain't just COVID.
Yeah.
It's the structural racism in the system that needs to be addressed. We have to continuously work on that. That are creating barriers to even concentrate on a fight for looping. We got to fight just to stay afloat, to keep the state from coming in and taking over. The racism, there was a board meeting I was at, and it was an executive session, so it was a private meeting. I brought up a topic dealing with race, and the next thing I know, it was on Bob Lonsberry, had information that went on in the meeting, and it was supposed to be an executive session. That's the extent that people will go to quiet down any talk about racism and structural racism. Um, yeah, and they released information to the right winger, and he didn't come at it too hard because this is not the time for that nonsense. And I meant what I had said. And basically, what I had said is that I personally would not be supporting another white person coming on the board. We got two already. We don't need no more than that. Right now is not the time for that nonsense. And so they said something about legally I can't vote like that, and that's fine. But I said what I said. I meant what I said. And they tried to twist it. But this is the thing. What my point is that I'm not even been able to focus on what I wanted to focus on in the past year. And I'll be honest, COVID had a lot to do with it, but Daniel Prude had a lot to do with it as well. It's for me visually, that is outside of Emmett Till, nothing ever has affected me more visually than Daniel Prude. It was really disgusting. I've only been able to actually look at that maybe 2 or 3 times. I skipped looking at that video, man. It really impacts me in a very, very negative way. I've gotten. I had told you I went. I had just got out of surgery maybe a week or two, the first week of September, and I was in the hospital for a week because surgery didn't go as well as we had wanted it to go. And then, so when I got out, I couldn't be at rallies. But my daughter had went to a rally, my wife, and I found out my daughter had got arrested. I went down there to get her because I know first and foremost, the most she can get is a parent's ticket. So release her in my custody and let me take her home. This is my daughter. She's a minor. I got down there and the end result, I got arrested. They arrested me. So they had my wife, my daughter, just my daughter Sarah, but my daughter, 12-year-old daughter, as she was 12 at that time, she's the only one they didn't arrest. And they attempted to arrest her, and for some reason they backed up. I don't know, but it's crazy out here, and we have to do all we can, or the moment is going to slip away from us. This is the time that some things can happen. We're having conversations that we've never had before about race. And I'm preparing for this no good decision in reference to Daniel Prude. I'm highly expecting them to not do anything, not to indict. And that's a shame because they should at least put it on the table and let it go through the system. I don't want to get on here and bash elected leaders, but the truth is our elected leaders have not done nothing in reference to this here. I've been to pretty much all the rallies, and I ain't seen nobody there outside of DeMond. Outside of DeMond Minks, I ain't seen nobody there. Mary Lupien showed up. Mary Lupien, maybe. Other than that, nobody consistently was there. Nobody.
There's to be a consensus from a lot of folks that there's not a lot of support for the causes that people are fighting for within our city by our elected officials. And then when they do show up, it seems like it's more for publicity than for the actual cause. So I do understand where you're coming from. So we'll try not to touch too much on that. We don't want to catch a whole lot of
fun. Yeah.
Let us know that these are the thoughts of many people. Yeah.
So I also want to say that also who I did not see is they had a board meeting last night, and people from the RTA was out there making all these complaints about the school possibly opening back up. We supported them last year when they was doing all them cuts, the whole families, kids, and everything. But I ain't seen RTA at now Black Lives Matter rally. Not a single one. There's a few teachers that consistently were there, but as a group, RTA is not supported Black Lives Matter, and that's just the truth. And they're fighting like hell right now to not open the schools. And the only place the schools ain't open is in the urban areas across the country. All the private schools, charter schools, and all that has been suburban school. They're all open, and there is such a low count on it not being safe for kids.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't. That's another. It's another form of racism.
For sure. Because one of the ways they keep us down is definitely through education and by not allowing us to go back even hybrid. And because I wrote a piece recently about how online school has been affecting a lot of the youth in our community. And it is terrible for us. A lot of the folks in our community are very high energy because of the way we grew up, the things we saw around us. And because of that, we need to be able to put that energy into something physical. We're very hands on, just like on average. A lot of the folks that I grew up with were not very visual folks. They were very, let me do it a few times and I'll get it. And they'd be excellent at it from the rest of the year. But because they're in online school, all they have is the visual, all they have is the auditory. They can't get any experience.
Yeah, that's exactly. You sound just like my 13-year-old daughter Maya. Now that's exactly how she feels. She is so happy at just the thought of going back for 2 days, interacting with other students. It's been so. To be honest, people talked about some of their kids having this closing of the school and online learning has affected some kids mentally.
Yeah.
This has affected some adults, parents mentally.
That.
And I'm here to tell you, I'm gonna tell you first. I've had to seek. Me and my family have had to seek professional therapeutic help as a result of this stuff. It's just it has impacted my family in such a negative way that we've done what I've never done before. I've never done in my life. Talk to a therapist, none of that. That I just thought that wasn't for Black folks. I'm be honest with you. That's what I thought. Yeah, we don't deal with that, but this has gotten so bad that I resorted to that. My family has resorted to that, seeking professional help. So I definitely support us doing some kind of hybrid model.
Yeah. Because it will definitely take a lot of the mental strain off of the kids to be able to be around other people. Because just seeing other faces is a relief to them.
Yeah, and then they have some teachers don't even allow kids to see other. They have it set up where you can't even see the other students that are online learning with you. I don't understand the purpose of that, but that bothers my daughter as well. One of her teachers does that. She said, I can't even establish a social friendship online with somebody because I can't see them. And yeah, I'm just not going for the pushback that they're doing. I'm definitely not going to be voting like that. I'm going to vote support the superintendent and the students, my kids. I honor the opinion, expressions of youth. When I went out to Ferguson, when they first killed Mike Brown, I went out there, spent a lengthy amount of time out there, and then I went back a total of 3 times. Um, I learned so much from the youth. I learned how to quit judging them, underestimating them just because they're young, um, or because their pants was hanging, or because they had a tattoo, or out there, even because if they were homeless, they put everything on the line. Them youth out there put everything on the line. There's some of them were in college. They ended up losing their little scholarships because not attending. They put everything on the line. So I had to humble myself and follow their lead. Let them do something different. They wasn't even just marked. They did everything different. And they were successful because right now we have, when stuff happens, people at least have, you hear these police chiefs at least get up on TV and give an excuse. Because prior to that, they didn't even have to give an excuse. They just was doing stuff. I mean, nothing as far as in the end result, not enough people are not um, suffering the consequences that they should for the crazy behavior. But we're not just sweeping it under the rug. People do have to get up. People can't just get away with killing young black men.
Yeah.
You know, they can't just get away with it. They at least have to get up and put some kind of excuse on the table, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Even have some accountability, making
yeah.
them hold on to it. So, what do you think is the best course of action for us to continue down this path? Because while we're finally making a bit more leeway, because we've been battling this stigma with the police for hundreds of years, and it's likely not to end soon. What do you think is the
So one thing that really would be effective, and I don't know how to put it in place, is we need a good whistleblower system, a good solid whistleblower system that protects the whistleblower. Because right now, if one police tells on another police, he'll end up losing his pension. Um, Atmosphere of working under those conditions would be so rough that he couldn't even work. I've
yeah,
seen it with a police officer in Buffalo, man. She told on another officer, and they ended up, I think it's back in court this past year, but 3 or 4 years ago, um, she ended up losing her job from doing a whistleblower. And the person that she whistleblowed on, as it usually happens, they get promotions.
mm,
Um, so we need a good whistleblower system um, where people will come forward and tell about the wrongdoing. And at the end of the day, um, even in police, they're getting paid a lot of money. They
yeah,
don't want to lose their job, but because their job is not under any threat of being lost, they just do what they want to do. But if they thought they was going to lose their job and couldn't take care of their family, they might straighten up, man. And that's the same thing. All these systems, institutions, that's the way we need the school system. We need the good teachers need to be able to tell the truth about the bad teachers. We need to get them bad teachers up out of there. There's a whole bunch of them.
yeah.
We need to be able to get them out of here. We lost so many good teachers last year in the cuts. I'm
Because
talking
they're
about some
removed.
amazing teachers.
Because I know I heard there were like there's some teachers that were downstairs because I go to early college, so we're on top of like for the younger kids. The younger kids lost so many teachers, and it was sad to hear because they were doing well, and it's because they were newer. We
Yeah,
value teachers based off how long they've been teaching, not how effectively they teach, which is what's insane. Like, why would we do that? That doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you want teachers who have been proven to be effective, not just who've been working the longest?
yeah, teachers who connect with the youth, closer to their age, a teacher in their 20s as opposed to a teacher in their 60s.
Yeah.
We gotta retire them. We gotta retire people my age. We're not really we're out of touch with the youth. We're out of touch. When I remember they had to break it down to me in Ferguson, the youth. They schooled me. It was education for me being out there with the youth. They said, we ain't doing Facebook. We ain't email, none of that. You know, back then they said we're doing tweets.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to get with OG. They was calling me OG. You got to get with our method. And their method was working. It was different, but it was working. When we did marches, they did not march. They was like dancing in the streets. And this was something so different from me. I ended up having to get a ride because I didn't have that kind of energy. I had to get in one of them vehicles. But I had to accept that I had lost touch with the youth. And the youth is always, and you look back at history, it's always been the youth that has led these movements and brought about change for every step of the way. You know, because we've made some changes in the past, not big change, but the change that has been made has John Lewis, when he led his slick, he was a youth then. Martin was a young man when he started out. I was a young man, you know?
Yeah.
So I just totally support the youth. I support us trying to get a whistleblower system in place. And I really want to see the youth get involved in politics. I want to see the youth be the mayor, the city council president, the school board president. We're just coming. The youth are coming from a different place. They have a whole new way of talking. They got a whole new language.
Ebonics done changed. We got two of them now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So what would your advice be to your fellow elders out there on how to continue to uplift our youth in our community?
So that is something. And let me tell this. I have a call coming now. He can wait. Van can wait. I'll call him. I'll call him back here. It might be something stupid. Let me check. It might be something crazy important. Can you pause?
Yeah, I can pause it.
Well, connection. But see, this is the nonsense. I just got a call. Van to my, do I support delaying coming back to school a week or two after the break? I said, absolutely not. I absolutely do not support that. No, we're not going to delay. He said, only a week. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. I said, you asked me, and I told you my vote will be no on that. Nah, man. That's a game to try to satisfy the union people. I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I can't be here talking about I support the youth and turn around and
do something to harm them. I feel
you. Yeah, do something like that. No, absolutely not. I can't even believe he's trying to do that behind the scene, but he's campaigning. He's trying to get more votes to be a judge. Yeah. He's not going to be on the school board. Nah.
Because I know a lot of folks have issues with Van White. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, he gets a lot of votes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of voting people that do be voting for him. Outside of Nicole Morris, nobody else got more. That's the only reason he didn't make judge last time, because Nicole got so many votes. And when it come around to the school board vote, him and Willard, they be getting them votes. And I don't know. with very little campaigning. Well, he goes out and goes to the meeting, but just name familiar people being familiar with their names or something. I'm not sure what it is.
It was popping up at like graduations and such.
Yeah. So the people in my circle, none of them respect him. Yeah. They're looking at things through a progressive lens, and they have a bad look when they look at him. Yeah.
So what are some of the other things that you see or have seen, not only just on the school board, but just in general with how our schools are ran?
So I don't know. We have to find some more funding for sure. We definitely have to have some more funding, a better funding stream, depending on the state, the supporters. Governor Cuomo has not been very supportive at all of funding the schools. Oh, he was great with doing his daily lectures on COVID. He was the man for that. But when it comes to school, and when it comes to education and healthcare, nah, he's really at the bottom of the list in my book. And we have to, as a community, we have to start going. The Black folks, us Black folks, we have to start going to Albany. Because I'm telling you, when more than 5 or 6 of us get together, people pay attention.
Yeah.
They pay attention. Out of fear. Out of different reasons, man. And I know a lot of people say they're already doing this and already doing that. They got a lot on their plate. They need to get a bigger plate. Yeah. They need to get a bigger plate.
There's a lot of issues that need to be dealt with.
Yeah.
That being said, what are some of the issues you think we ourselves could tackle as the Black community that without any assistance? What are some things that we should be trying to work on within our own community?
So we need to work on supporting one another. We should not be having people from out in East Rochester coming in plowing our yards. You know what I'm saying? We should have a Black person that lives in our community, somebody live in our community doing that. We have to support our community. That's what we need to do. We need to be self-sufficient as a community. And we need to step up when people are not doing what we want them to do. We need to step up and get them up out of there. I really feel strongly about that because people get in these elected official positions, man, and their agenda changes. It becomes a self-serving agenda, ambitious agenda. How far can I go? Yeah. I for sure would not be running again. I for sure would not be running for public office again. And the only reason I have not even stepped down is because people, I try not to let down the people that supported me. And I am a pretty good referee. Because sometimes that's what it needs, some refereeing on the board. It gets kind of wild. And so back behind the scenes, I try to, there's a role that I play, and I see that there's been a need for me being there. It's not a total loss or a total waste, but I would definitely not be running again. It just turns my stomach. Some of the stuff that I see, and stuff is just accepted, and I know I've been forced to have to sit at the table and have a good conversation with folks that I probably would not even say hi or give them the time of day normally. But that's, as an official, as a representative of the people, I have to stuff that and keep things moving forward. And I just feel that our youth need to be up there and leading, taking us in the right direction, because a lot of us, people my age, we're settled, and what we think everything that we think is right. We do. We're hard. We're the most hard-headed, stubborn people you ever want to see. Is us older folks. We're set in our ways. We've gotten so far, and we think it's because of how we are. We've gotten that far. When it's because, in spite of us being how we are, we got that far. It ain't because of how we are. And that's how I operate. I'm one of the things I advocate for in all the schools with the parents that I work with. We have a conversation about spanking. I'm totally against corporal punishment, even though I suffered a lot of that coming up. And I know that where I'm at today is in spite of those spankings. It's not because of those spankings.
It's very hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a form of violence. It's telling kids that this is how we resolve issues. This is how we move on. And so now, this is how kids are coming in kindergarten acting. There was about 15 kids on Arnett. I live on Arnett down here, and there was just about 2 years ago, two girls were fighting, and there was like 13 or 14 people watching the fight.
Yeah.
And I pulled over and started yelling at them to knock it off. I'm gonna be honest with you, they didn't pay me no attention. When the police came, they broke up, but they was more concerned with filming the fight as opposed to stopping the fight. And so my voice did not matter to them. Me being an elder, in certain situations, only another youth could have stopped that. And the police, when the police came, they broke it up. The police pulled up right behind me, basically, and they stopped. But this is as a result of youth seeing violence as being the tool that a lot of folks use, a lot of grown folks use. And so they think that's the thing to do. And we have to work it out and find another way. We're doing a lot of harm to ourselves, but there's no comparison to the harm that we do ourselves and the harm the police doing to us. Because one thing is for sure, if somebody does something to me on Arnett Boulevard and they get caught, if they're not the police, they're going to jail. Yeah. They are going to jail. That's the difference. There's no accountability from the police. They can do whatever they want to do, and there's just no consequences. Yeah. But the people that do crime in the city, if they get away with it, they just got away with it. But if they get caught, they're going to jail. Yeah. Bottom line, very few people win at trial. So that's what I'm advocating for when I want justice. I want people to go through the system, to be put on trial.
Regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
So as a final word to our listeners and, just a message out to the youth, what is some advice you want to give to the young folks out there who don't know much about politics or have been trying to research and want to start?
So, you're going to have, my advice to the young people is to don't be afraid to voice and stand behind what you feel when you're talking to one of us elders. Don't let us disregard your feelings or your thoughts, because there's a whole lot of stuff that we've done that did not work, did not change anything. And so it needs to happen from a different perspective, from a different lens. And step up in all fields. We need you, and we need you to be the principals. We need you to be the mayors, the city councilman, the mailman, everything. We got to step up. We got to get up off them corners and step up. Let's speak to each other. People don't even speak to each other. I got neighbors. It's unbelievable. I got neighbors that don't even speak, and that didn't bother me, them not speaking to me. But when they wouldn't speak to my kids, oh no, that was it.
Yeah.
That's an unforgivable sin. So my advice to other as to community, one thing we can't do is we can't give up. We can't stop trying. And if I know that you got a lot on your plate, get a bigger plate. Get a bigger plate. That's what we have to do. We have to do that for the future of our kids, the future of our community.
Yeah. I appreciate these wise words, and it was excellent getting to speak with you again, Mr. Adams.
Good. It was good speaking with you. Anytime I could do anything. I support your family, just like your family supported me.
Appreciate that a lot, sir. Deadline signing off.
All right.